Welcome back to the series. In this video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Strapi backend. And in the last video, we covered this a little bit. This is where all the data is: cuisine location, restaurant, review, the users that we register. And if we go into the restaurant, we pick out, let's say, one of them, and we can see all the data fields are being filled out here. And when we look at photos, we can see I'm using Cloudinary link. And this is a image hosting service. I'm using the free version, and free version gives me plenty of space and options to work with. Fantastic. And this is the media library, which I love. The best thing about it is, like any image here, you can just click on this button and that lets you, let's say, go to a notepad and paste it right there. So this is how I can just bring it in here and paste it right here and use my images. And that way I don't have to use the media library. And if I don't use the media library, my Strapi footprint stays smaller. It doesn't get bloated up, right? And that being said, now let's look at the most interesting part. This is the content type builder, where the data structure is built, location, and they give you like another field. If you click on it, you get to choose like text, which text, number, a lot of other ones, media, UID, such and such, components. Another fantastic part, repeatable components. For example, here I used menu items. I can use this block anywhere I like. Photos, it has one item, but it's also another repeatable component. And the best part here is the relationships between fields. Just to demonstrate that, let me take you to a diagram. So this is a very simple version. This is how I design my data relationship and data models. For example, the food items that restaurants carry. One restaurant can have many items, so there's a one-to-many relationship. And then one location can have multiple restaurants, so one-to-many here. But when it comes to cuisine versus restaurant, it can have many-to-many relationship, because one restaurant can have many cuisines, vice versa. So now let's go back and look how Strapi lets me handle this with a nice little interface. Here's a one-to-many relationship between location, restaurants, and then cuisine and restaurant has many-to-many, and reviews versus restaurant would have one-to-many, so on and so forth. So this is a fantastic interface to create your data model, data structure, and data relationships. And here is the media library in case you need to use it. I don't. This is the plugins that are already installed. These are all built by Strapi, so they come in as part of the whole construct. And then here's the marketplace. They have a very strong community, and lots and lots of plugins are built that you can use when necessary. And this is probably the most important part. This is where you start with API token. Here I created a full access one. You can go into the detail. I took I chose a default one and gave it unlimited access, full access. And this is what I use for data fetching from my remote server. But since this is local, I just kept it simple. I mean, you can actually go, choose a custom one that will let you go item by item and choose a select or unselect whatever you need. And there is a webhook. I've never used it, but it could be very handy. And here's the administration panel. There are two types of users. One is administrative users. Here are the default roles. Kind of like WordPress, they have author, editor, super admin, and they let you create custom ones. And here are the admin users. I myself is a super admin, and you can collab with others by giving them, access via invite users. The fantastic process, works all the time. And then if you want to work with email, this is where you come. And these are our ones, our users that we register. There are only two types here. Here also you can create custom roles, but here only two types showing: authenticated and public. That means the people who are logged in versus non-logged in. And here I use the public because this is the local one. And as you can see, for all the items, I can actually choose what functionality to, give access to. Location, for example, restaurant here, find one. And the nice thing about it is, if you click here, it actually shows you the exact URL endpoint to go to and what endpoint you are actually allowing access to or not. And the reason I gave the public access so that I don't have to use anything like Postman. I can just show everything on the browser right here. All right, so now let me show you how to filter the data here, right? So now that we have seen, this is like the base information that's coming on the restaurant. As you can see here, let's go to content, restaurant. Okay, these are the types here. And it's just showing us the based one, but not showing us the relationship ones, like location, cuisine, review. None of them are here, right? So in order for us to get them, we can just simply, let's say we want to get the restaurant data with the location attached to it, right? So let's say we're going to put it here like that. Question mark populate equals location, and boom, there you go. So now the same information, but with location attached, right? Now we have location and the base information from restaurant. And these are the ones we saw in relationship right here on too many. Just like that, if we want to see all of them, we want to go ahead and say equals star, enter, and boom, now you see the photos are here, menu items are here, location, cuisine, reviews, etc., etc. And that's how Strapi lets us get all the necessary data and utilize our one-to-one or one-to-many relationship with other fields so that we can create apps like this, where we get to see all the data. And not only that, when you go to the detail, brings in extra information that we can display here. All right, now let's go back to Strapi backend. And now that you have seen the data structure, but let me show you how to secure your data structure. Normally, you just take this full access token and use it in your code to access the data. So normally you're not gonna go ahead and make everything available to public. You're gonna come here and lock everything down, right? I mean, just to uncheck everything, lock everything down, and then you are gonna go to authenticated, and that's when you're gonna come and enable stuff. Since I have publicly available everything, so I don't really have to do anything here, but this is where you're gonna actually make the changes, use the token to access that will secure your data. And this is how you secure your data on it once you deploy it on a remote server. Now, talking about that, let me show you how I structure my deployments. This is the whole blueprint of my deployments. I mean, I use a staging droplet in the cloud, which uses Ubuntu Linux. This is my local dev setup front end. I deployed the Strapi backend in my Ubuntu droplet, which currently using SQLite, but eventually I'm going to go ahead and upgrade to Postgres. But the way I do it is I pull it in from using npm, and then start it up on a port 1337, and then I use a Plesk server where I actually set up the SSL and use the Nginx reverse lookup to set up another domain like this, strapi.staging.com. So people coming here are redirected to the actual server, and that's how Strapi is connected. And from my front end, I use the the token I showed you to connect to the API on the server front end, and basically not really directly talk to this, but talk to this guy so that my transactions are secured with SSL. And when it comes to the Next.js front end, the application I showed you, the restaurant front end, I just push it to GitHub, and then from my staging droplet, I just pull it in and start it up on port 4000 and set up the reverse lookup using Plesk server, configure the SSL, and then access my app using app.staging.com, whatever domain name you want to use. Now, if you want to know how to build this setup, I have a video created already, the entire blueprint on my channel. Come here and you find this playlist, DevOps, and you open it up, and this is the video, the entire blueprint laid out for you, hosting Next.js and Strapi v4, Plesk, SSL, etc. etc. That being said, this concludes this video, and on the next video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the data layer. Thanks for watching.